Hey there, today we're gonna do a little family favorite. We're gonna make a smoked meatloaf on my big green egg here. So here we go. All right, for my smoked meatloaf, it's gonna look a lot like your regular traditional family meatloaf. One thing I do a little different is I put some cheese on the inside. So it's a stuffed meatloaf with cheese, and then I do the outside with a brisket seasoning. So when I smoke it, it gives a good bark like a good brisket would. So 5 pounds of ground beef, 5 eggs, about 2.5 cups of filler. A lot of people use bread only. I like to cut mine with pork rinds for a little better low carb option. Some milk, a little bit of our local Rocktown bourbon, my meatloaf seasoning, and then some the outside I do a rub with Lane's barbecue brisket rub. Again, like whatever your favorite beef brisket rub is a good choice there. So I'm gonna mix it all up, and then I'll show you what the steps look like in the middle. You'll see here I've got the meat, the eggs, the filler, and my meatloaf seasoning all piled up. I'm gonna knead these together. You'll notice I got the cheese out still, and the milk and the bourbon flavor. Don't worry, folks, if your kids are eating this, the bourbon, the alcohol portion cooks off as your temperature rises. So don't sweat giving this to your kids. All right, I see here that I've got all the ingredients mixed in. I went ahead and added the milk and a little bit of bourbon there. Again, it's optional and it will cook out, but I think it brings the flavor out when you finish your product there. This is the meat glob after everything's mixed in. So to assemble the meatloaf, I'll transfer that to a sacrificial pan here that I made with 3 layers of aluminum foil. That lets you throw that away because it's going to make kind of a mess and let you put some holes in it to let some of the juice run out. So I'll take some video as we go. All right, this is layer 1 of the meat on the sacrificial tray. Time to add a layer of cheese. One thing I do is give a little divot. You probably can't quite see it in the video, but make a little divot there in the meat to hold the cheese nicely. Nice little layer of pepper jack. I've used cheddar. Pepper jack usually has the best flavor that comes through, so I would recommend it, but whatever floats your boat there. Layer 1 of cheese. I'll put another layer of meat, another layer of cheese, and then cap it off with the remaining meat at the end. So you'll see a final loaf next. Cheese layer 2. And it's now time for the favorite. Rub it up real good with your favorite brisket rub. Again, I'm using the Lane's barbecue brisket rub and seasoning. It's fantastic. As I do this, one of the things that I really enjoy about making this is a very low carb option. Obviously it's non-vegan for those that are checking, but very low carb choice to eat, feeds family. It's cheap to make. So there's the finished product. Next we'll meet out on the egg. All right, this is where the magic happens. Got a little bit of applewood and mesquite in there. It'll start billowing here pretty soon. I'm gonna transfer my meatloaf over to the one egg. I'm set up on indirect heat here. I've got my Flame Boss cranked up to about 250, 260 degrees, and then I'll poke these holes. These holes are useful. You can put a catch tray below. On top of above your fire to catch some of this stuff that comes through. But one thing about meatloaf, it does ooze a little bit of fat and grease out. So that's makes your end product a little bit gooey if you're not careful. But a couple little holes, let some of it ooze out. If it burns, catch it on fire, it adds a little extra flavor. So got a few pieces going there. Got the right fire temperature. Got the smoke coming. Time to close it up and see what happens. All right, here we are. The meatloaf is ready to go. It's a little bit right about 161, which is between 160 and 165 is a good temp. You can see a lot of the oozing from the cheese there on the side. I may have overdone the cheese a little bit, but rather overdue cheese than underdue cheese, right? All right, so we're gonna get this off and then let it sit for maybe 10 minutes and then start cutting into it. Let the cheese settle and I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. After transferring to a serving platter, this is what the final product looks like. For those of you who like to put ketchup on it, you could probably do that at this point. And then when you cut into the meatloaf here. All right, the finished product here is good meatloaf. You see it's cooked all the way through at around 161. You see a little bit of the smoke ring on the outside there. Probably a little, in hindsight, I probably overdid the cheese a little bit this time. A lot of cheese, so it feels a little oily, but so that's one. If you look, one way to improve it if you're looking for something to improve. But overall, this is fantastic. Final product. And that's how you make smoked meatloaf on the Big Green Egg. I really love having my Big Green Egg. Let's keep it right here outside the back door, and it's really become my second kitchen. And that's it.